Well, you saw the thumbnail and you clicked on the video, so you must want to see the review of the AQ045 light from the company AQQA. And yes, it is pronounced AQQA. It's not Aqua like most people pronounce it. Here's proof, an email directly from the company with a little note that says, please pronounce our name correctly. So if you guys didn't know, AQQA is the sister company of Haiger, and if you watch the channel for a while, you know that I love my Haiger lights, specifically the HG75 light, my favorite in this kind of strip lighting model. So the strip light model or design, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Can't speak today, but real review, so here you go. Speaking of real reviews, this is the first time that the company has reached out to me and they wanted to send me a light because I guess they like my Haiger light reviews. I'm making a mess of this intro, so let's just go ahead and open this light up, give you an honest review. Here's a clip of an email response back to the company stating I would only be doing an honest review. So they were cool with that. Here's your honest review. As you can see, I have a dark corner of the fish room that I need to light up. So let's get this bad boy opened up, see if it's going to suit my needs and if it grows plants. Alright, I don't have a fancy table or nothing like the more experienced YouTubers, so we're just going to do this on the floor like normal people, I guess. So I'm going to assume this would be the best way to open it up from the end. And first we have a power brick. Now I haven't opened this at all. I've seen it for the first time as you guys are seeing it for the first time. So we'll slide the light out. Legs are already installed, and that's it. That's all we got in the box here. Of course, your little packing materials. Looks like it's probably going to be an RGB setup here, which means standard white LEDs and then red and blue and green. But we'll plug it in and find out for sure. I don't have any information on this. This is a blind review. So it is made of your standard, kind of aluminum light we're all familiar with. A little bit of texture here on the back side of the light. Got a little decent weight to it. Not super heavy, but it is super thin. I mean, there's my finger for reference. It's not even as wide as my finger. Very, very thin light. That's pretty cool. It's going to have your standard, just, metal feet or legs or stand or whatever you want to call. But they do have a little tension on them, which is nice. Let me see if this side does as well. Yeah. Little tension on them, so that's nice. It holds position. If you've ever used some of these lights, if this is loose, in other words, it doesn't have any tension, it slides very easily, and your light can sometimes kind of shift positions and fall into your aquarium. So a little friction on the feet themselves, that's a nice little touch. Now this light is a 36 watt, 36 inch light. But AQQA does make other models here, so you can take a look through there and see. They make a 14 watt, an 18, a 22, 24, 36, and a 42. And those corresponding light sizes are going to be down here. You can pause the video there if you want to see the different light sizes. So the controller is one that we're pretty much familiar with all of these lights. If you've used one of the aquarium lights before, they all kind of have some version of this controller. You have your manual on-off button with your mode button attached. You have your timer function, so once the light is on, you can click it for 6 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours, and it will auto off and then auto back on that time setting. You also have your DIY button here. DIY button, you can adjust the color temperature that you want. You can adjust when it turns on and off with a 24/7 button, so you can do a real custom installation or custom timing mode. I just run mine on a smart outlet, like one of these guys here. So I like my lights to turn on when the outlet turns on and not have to push the power button. If this is the first time you're seeing my channel, let me tell you that my subscribers will comment and confirm down below. There is one thing that your light has to do in order to pass my test and review of flying colors, and it has to turn on with a smart outlet. If it does not turn back on with a smart outlet, you don't pass 100%, even though it might be a good light. Now, I have two lights currently here that don't pass that test, and that company was made aware of it. And, we still release the review. We do honest reviews, and they were fine with it. But I like the default mode to be power on when the light loses power. For example, I'm in Florida and we have a lot of storms that come through Florida, and I live in a rural area and we lose power quite frequently. So if I'm at work or something, I want my fish room to come back on. You can see I've got lots of aquariums and lots of lights, and I want this whole thing to power back up automatically, or me be able to manually turn it on with my smart outlet on my phone. So coming in closer now, we have the AQQA light, the AQ045, set up here on these 3 aquariums. Well, 1 fish bowl and 2 aquariums. And this is the section of my rack that I don't currently have a light for. What's great is if we zoom in a little bit here, you may be able to see that I have the light spanning from across the top of the cube aquariums over the fish bowl and over to this cube aquarium here, where then we have the other leg over here. Again, I know it's dark. That's the whole point. I need a light. So let's go ahead and plug it in real time. I have a smart outlet down here that's already powered on. This is the first time I'm plugging it in, and we should get power. Well, a lot of times you got to turn these lights on for the first time manually, and then they will power on. So let me try and do that. Come on, go to just on. There we go. Let me see if there's an intensity setting here. Ah, yes. Okay. I was a little nervous at first, thinking it wasn't going to be that bright. Oh, yeah, but she's bright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm assuming levels. Yes, back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Working pretty good. Good, decent light. Matches the rest of the aquarium brightness. And I noticed one interesting thing while I was down there below the light. This light is an RGBP. And what I mean is there's pink LEDs in there. We have red, green, blue, and pink. Come on, camera, focus. There we go, it focused in. You see that pink one right here in the middle? Look at that, little pink lights. So I don't know what the color spectrum is with the pink light as far as its effect on plants, but I just noticed it and thought you guys would like to know that it is what I'm calling RGBP, red, green, blue, pink. Now what I want to do is adjust the camera's brightness manually here to mimic on screen exactly what I'm seeing in real life. So if we click this down a little bit, yeah, that would be the color tone and the intensity that I am seeing in real life. So let me back the camera up in real time and show you that the brightness is on par with the other lights. And I think, let me double check. Yes, every light in this fish rack is a Haiger light, other than the new AQQA light. So if we back it up here, you can see real time I have not changed the intensity. And brightness wise, it's on par with the other Haiger lights in this fish rack. Now, I want to do the official test in real time. I got to squat down a little bit so I'm in frame here. We're going to want to be watching this section right here. I have my smartphone with my smart outlets. The app is up, and I think that is left rack number 2 would be that light. We're going to turn it off and see if it turns back on just with the outlet. All right, I got the right button. That is off. Real time, does it turn back on? Oh man, you failed my test. It didn't turn back on automatically when the outlet turned back on. Whoa guys, hold the presses. I made a mistake. See, this is later in the video here, but I had to come and edit this back in right now because I don't want you to think that this light doesn't turn back on when the power goes out. Apparently, it took a cycle or two maybe to program the controller or something, but I unplugged it from the smart outlet after recording the last clip later in the video and plugged it into a regular outlet because I was going to set the auto timer so the light would come on when I'm not home like all my other lights do. And when I plugged it into that outlet, it turned back on. I was like, well, wait a minute. So I plugged it back into the smart outlet and I did a test. Watch this. Off, on. Hey. So it does. I don't know why it didn't do it the first couple of times, but if you didn't just click off the video, please disregard that statement. But real review, I'm going to leave it in there because that was my initial thought. AQQA, I'm very sorry. your light does turn back on at full intensity when the power comes back on. Good job. But guys, keep in mind, that's my special circumstance. Maybe that doesn't bother you at all. So if it doesn't, what you're going to want to know is the light worth the value and the money, and does it grow plants? So let me explain to you why I have it set up on these aquariums. See, the aquariums that you're looking at, the left cube and the right cube here, that was part of an experiment I did with a high-intensity Haiger light. The aquarium on the left here used Haiger's lowest intensity light. I don't think AQQA is going to be concerned with me talking about Haiger since it is their sister company. Anyway, the aquarium on the right was Haiger's highest intensity light that they make. And you can kind of see that this experiment just ended and we have better plant growth, and we were growing some hard to grow plants like this carpet plant here. You can go scroll my channel and find that review probably if you'd like to go see it. This video here is the AQQA light, so let's try and stay on topic. But the reason I brought that up is because I'm going to be running this light for a couple of weeks, and what I want to see is if any of the kind of harder to grow plants like the variegated bucephalandras, the Anubias pinto, I want to see if they diminish or, hate to say it, if they die. So want to see if this light and its intensity can maintain the growth in this aquarium. Do we lose any of the high intensity red tones? Does our pink flamingo, cryptocorin flamingo down here go unflamingo-y? In other words, go back to green? And if not, will it get better intensity growth over here in the aquarium that was lit very poorly? So let's run this for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back to show you the difference. So keep this image right here refreshed in your brain for the next 2 seconds. Here comes the next clip a couple of weeks later. All right, it's been exactly 30 days since I set up the light on the aquariums here. Let's take a look and see how they're faring. Let's start with the aquarium on the right. In one of the previous clips, you may have noticed a string algae issue in this tank. We are happy to announce that that has gone away. Now, I did do some manual removal, but it did not come back. They have just seemed to balance the amount of wattage needed to grow plants, but not excessive high-intensity light that may grow algae. Now, that doesn't mean if you have a nutrient imbalance that you're not going to get algae, but there's not too much going on in this aquarium. In fact, all we have is just a couple of blue shrimp. I don't even think we're going to be able to find one. There's one in there. Just a couple of blue shrimp in here for breeding purposes. Just want to expand my colony, and so I've dropped them in there, but there's no fish or anything creating waste. I do give them a shrimp pellet every once in a while. Anyway, that's not what you're here to look for. What you want to see is plant growth. I will let you know that the red root floaters up here on the top, focus camera, as you see, they used to all be vibrant red because this aquarium had the high intensity light on it. You can see the red roots are now kind of going back to their normal state, kind of a pinky, purpley, greenish kind of hue with the new growth. But everything else in this aquarium has maintained its color. We've had no loss in color with the super red mini right here. We have not lost any of our plants. In fact, they've been growing. This is a Anubias pinto. Anyway, hard to grow pinto, I think it is. And all the other buces and harder to grow plants that were in this experiment, including the carpet plant we had mentioned earlier, they haven't grown more, the carpet plant that is. The other Anubias and stuff has grown more, but it's up closer to the light. But we've had no decrease in plant activity here. I had mentioned earlier about our cryptocorin flamingo. It's turning a little more brown than the pink, but that's to be expected without a super high intensity light. Flamingo's not going to turn pink unless you bombard it with a sunlight intensity quality. Let's put it that way. But I'm extremely happy with the light. It's on par with all of the other lights that I have in this rack. And I am satisfied with just the way it grows plants and not algae. Let's bump over here and take a quick look at the aquarium on the left. Really not too much of a change here. This is kind of what you would expect. There is plant growth. I don't have much in here that grows fast. As you can see, it's pretty much all epiphytes. A little bit of this super red mini back here. But it has grown. You can see these guys here kind of leggy and stretching up for the light. Some things I have noticed, what is this moss? Physidens moss, that's what this is. I kind of forgot the name for a second. If you look real close, as I'm going to get closer, come on camera, keep focused. You can see some new shoots, some dark green moss at the very base of this Physidens moss. It's growing out. The rest of the moss up there on top, maintaining, is doing this nice long Physidin leaves, which is what you get this moss for. And I really don't have too much to say. Everything in this aquarium's going good. No algae outbreak or anything. I want to let you know I have not cleaned the glass or anything for 30 days on this aquarium. You're just going to have to trust me. I don't have any other way to prove it. That's part of the review process. You got to trust me on the review. There's a little teeny bit of dust algae. Let me see if I can get you. Maybe you can see on that left pane of glass, there's a little bit of dust algae kind of accumulated there. But the reason I bring that up is this light is not growing abundance of algae. It's just maintaining the plant growth and some new plant growth. Pretty good. And to be honest with you guys, that's exactly what I expected. Because AQQA is a sister company of Haiger, I would imagine that the lights would be of similar build quality, similar intensity, and I would get the similar results that I do in the rest of my aquariums. That's why I run these lights. I just love the intensity for what I do. They work perfectly. It grows most of the common plants on the market, but I don't have to really maintain or combat an algae problem. They just do what they're supposed to do. Now, if you're looking for very fast, very intense plant growth, or you're trying to get the reddest plants you can possibly get, this light's probably not going to be for you. This is for the average aquarist that just has a nice home aquarium. They want decent light to slowly grow their plants, and they can enjoy their aquarium with a little bit less maintenance than those high intensity lights. So I don't have too much else to say. If you have any questions that I missed in this review, drop it down in the comments. I do reply to every comment at this time frame. The channel's unfortunately small enough that I can do that for you. But if you want to help me grow the channel to where I'm having a hard time answering all those comments, then subscribe and all those other buttons that we like on YouTube. But seriously, guys, if you have a question, let me know. I'll try and answer it. Well, that's it. Let's keep the review short and simple. If you like the product, there's a link in the description. Go get you one. And hey, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next light review. You forgot to tell them that you're actually keeping the light and you're going to be raising it up and mounting it into your racking system. So just go ahead and tell the people that while you're doing that outro music. I'm keeping the light, guys. Thank you, AQQA.